Hello, everyone. James Wilson here. What I want to talk about today is the truth behind polling. No one else on YouTube or anywhere has talked about this. And I don't know why. Because to me, it makes logical sense. So, we're going to get into the swing states, we're going to get into the polling. But I want to talk about the truth behind the polling because there's a lot of weird things going on that some people may not even be thinking about. As I said before, I'm the only YouTuber that has talked about this. So I'm going to talk about the 2020 polling and the truth behind it. So, as you all may know, Trump overperformed the polls by a little bit, by about 2 points nationally, and he also overperformed in some of the swing states, and I'm going to talk about that. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about 2020 polling and the truth behind it. So, number one, we all know that we had the coronavirus. And you had two different types of people. You had people that stayed home and stay safe. And then you had the faith over fear people who believed in getting out and about, assuming that the government gave you that right. But anyways, number one, people who stayed home are more likely to answer the phone. That's the case anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a cell phone or landline. If I'm chilling at my house and my phone rings, and it's my cell phone, I'm more likely to answer the phone. If I'm out and about having a good time, I am less likely to answer the phone. That's a fact. Overall, that's a fact. Number two, people who were scared of the virus were more likely to stay home. That's also the truth and the fact as well. Number three, people who were scared of the virus and stayed home were more likely to support Biden, and that's compared to people who didn't stay home. That's also a fact. So the conclusion, based on these data points right here, is that polls were tilted in Biden's favor. Therefore, Trump overperformed polling. That's a fact. We all know that. He overperformed, but we have to know why, and people don't talk about it. This is why, folks. All right, so number four. So the above is not happening now, folks. So what's the result? Trump is doing better in the polling. Duh. I mean, what do you think? Number five, 2020 mail-in and ballot harvesting efforts tightens Trump overperformance. No one's talking about this, folks. Even though Trump overperformed the polls, the mail-ins and the ballot harvesting efforts, they were done by the Democrats. The Democrats actually were the ones that benefited from it. And despite all of that, Trump is still overperformed. So what do you gather from all this? Think about it logically. Guess what? In 2024, Democrats will still do the same thing. They're going to ballot harvest, and it's going to tighten Trump over performance. They're going to do mail-ins and ballot harvesting again. Hello, they're not going to change. They're not going to change. It's the same. Number seven, the polls are accurate now, but when you factor in the ballot harvesting, in my opinion, my prediction, Trump will underperform the polling. He will underperform. And everyone's going to be like, or at least conservatives, how did he lose? How did he lose? Well, duh. I mean, hello. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out. Number 8, people are more likely to admit voting for Trump due to poor Democratic performance, and that's compared to 2020. So what does that mean? That means that the polls Trump will do better in the polls now than he did in 2020. That's another factor against him. So what that means is, if people were willing to admit that they were voting for Trump in 2020, the polls would have been even tighter back then. And maybe Trump would not have overperformed. And when you look at states like Arizona, for example, and we're looking at the battleground states, Biden had a 0.9% lead, and Biden is only won by 0.3. Okay. That is that's pretty tight right there. Trump leads by 4.2. Now Harris is leading in the Bloomberg poll, but then Trump is leading in other polls. I don't know the truth behind all of this. Obviously, when you're looking at it now, this is after Biden's announcement that he wasn't going to run. Harris is up. So if the trend continues, Harris is going to win Arizona. Now, I have Trump winning Arizona, but that could change. My prediction can definitely change between now and the election. But if the Democrat is up in a swing state, I'm going to give it to the Democrat, because, as I said before, back to my conclusion here, because I forgot to show you this. Conclusion, I think Trump will underperform the polling in 2024. And that's based on, right now, I think these polls are fairly accurate. The difference is the ballot harvesting. And Trump's going to have to be leading in the polls by a certain amount for me to pick that he's going to win. See, right here, when you look at it, Trump's up by 5 and 6, but that's before Biden announced that he was going to not run again. This is after the announcement, and Harris is up by 2. So right now, I actually give Arizona to Harris. So let's move on to the next battleground state. But there's not enough polling, so I'm not making the prediction. I'm not changing it yet. But Georgia, Trump versus Harris. This is it. The only poll is a Bloomberg poll, and it's tied. Now, supposedly, the only state that fixed their voting, that made it tighter, that won't do the harvesting and the mail-ins, is Georgia. I don't know how much truth that is into that, but if that's the case, then I could possibly go with how it was last time. Okay, and it's not showing here. Hold on a second here. Okay. All right, it's not giving me how it was last time. Okay, well, right now, I'd still give it to Trump, but by a tilt margin. And in Michigan, I know Trump overperformed by 1.4%, but that doesn't matter. Right now, Harris has a lead, big time. Okay, and some of these pollings is very, very weird. Let's go into the next state. You only have one poll, which is that Bloomberg poll. On Nevada, still Harris leads the Bloomberg poll. There's not enough polling on RCP. Now, there may be some other polls in other places. It's just kind of early right now, but right now Harris is up by 2. Okay, and then so with Nevada being the mail-in state, if Trump's not ahead in Nevada, there's no way I'm picking Trump. If he's not ahead in the polling, I'm not going to pick him. There's no way he's going to win. I think Trump has to be up by about at least 3 to win Nevada, in my opinion, because Nevada always underestimates Republican performance. The next state here, New Hampshire, that's an automatic Harris win. I'm not even going to look at that. North Carolina, Trump is ahead in the Bloomberg poll. Trump won it last time. I think Trump will win it again. Okay. And then going to Minnesota, that's an automatic Harris victory. I mean, we don't need to go further into that. Pennsylvania is very interesting. Bloomberg has Trump ahead in Pennsylvania. So if Harris, logically speaking, I think, and I'm 90, as I said, 90% sure she's going to pick probably Shapiro, unless he doesn't want it, or he prefers not to take it. She'll probably pick Shapiro, and this will change in the Harris's favor. But right now, Trump is ahead. Will I give Trump the win? I'm going to list it as a toss-up because, as I said, I think Trump will underperform, and they're going to ballot harvest like crazy, and she may pick Shapiro as her running mate. So, but for right now, Trump might get his edge. And if he does win Georgia and Pennsylvania, then he just wins the election. We don't have to worry about anything else. He'll get 270 on the dot. I just don't trust Pennsylvania. I don't trust Trump winning it. I just don't trust it. Virginia's an automatic Harris win. Wisconsin is very interesting. Is extremely interesting. So now, see, they have some of this here. You see, they have some of this here, today in history. Do they have that in Pennsylvania? Yeah, they do. Okay, so you could take a look at the polling last time on August 2nd. And you can see Biden did not underperform or overperformed. But you have a lot of ballot harvesting, and you have a lot of people that didn't admit to voting for Trump. And you had a lot of people that stayed home and answered the phone and said they support Biden. And so Trump definitely overperformed. So there must have been a huge amount of ballot harvesting to make it even again. How much, I don't know. Honestly, there's a lot. There's an absolute a lot. And I can go over some of these details real quick because it's pretty bad. I don't know how much Trump has to be ahead in Pennsylvania to win the state. 4 may not even be enough, folks. I'm just telling you that shouldn't have been that way. Trump definitely should have overperformed that polling. Let me see, let's say North Carolina, for example, they don't. Okay, they don't. Do they have it in Nevada? No, they don't have that in Nevada, but they do have it in Arizona. So when you look at Arizona, we looked at that was very, very close. But Wisconsin was not very close. Let me show you this real quick. So right now, Trump's ahead by 0.2, but look at this. Trump overperformed by 6 points. Wisconsin, that may have been a legit election. People talk about this and that. They may have ballot harvested a little bit, but I think it was even worse in Pennsylvania. I think they cheated more in Pennsylvania than Wisconsin. Biden still won. Wisconsin could easily be a more liberal state than Pennsylvania. It's just the fact that the liberals and the Democrats ballot harvest and go door to door and mail in the ballots. It masks that. So when you logically, I just want to explain this to you. When you ballot harvest in urban controlled Democratic areas, like 90% Democrat, and they don't live out in the country, they live in urban areas, and it's very easy to walk from apartment to apartment, house to house to collect the ballots, okay? And it makes it, these people, they typically don't vote, but they're gonna get a ballot mailed to them. They're gonna have someone basically spoon feed them and get the ballot back. That's why when you look at a state like Pennsylvania, the polling was dead on accurate. But in reality, when you factor in the people who answered the phone and all this stuff, I think that Trump's going to underperform the polling. I really believe that because of the games the Democrats like to play. And right now, Arizona might actually go for Harris. And in order for Trump to win, he needs to get to 270. But right now, it's going to be tight. He's got to win Pennsylvania. I just don't trust Pennsylvania. I don't trust it because they're going to ballot harvest like crap like they did before. They're going to ballot harvest like crap. And, you know, you don't have these people not admitting voting for Trump last. Like right now, this is more legit. People are admitting voting for Trump now. He's up by 2.7 actually. People are admitting that they're voting for Trump. But they voted for Trump last time. And the polling was the same, right? So if the polling was the same, but it wasn't legit, now people are finally admitting that they're voting for Trump. Trump's going to underperform. It's not difficult, folks. This isn't a difficult concept. So, you know, at the end of the day, this is why I don't trust the polls, because of the stuff that happened in 2020. I don't trust the polls. Let me know what you think about this. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.